Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to another channel on the video. My name is Ethan. I've been posting a full-length YouTube video every single day until the end of September. Today, we're going to do a little bit of a more fun video today. Because I've been posting so much content, I've been getting more comments on my videos. So this kind of originated because my dad posts a lot on my videos. So I figured what would be a great way to answer some of these questions then in video form. The first set of videos, we got someone saying I'm a huge fan of Leighton. In the quiz show, and we are a huge fan of Leighton here as well too. You know, she is my girlfriend. So there's two comments on the Let's Save the Local Racetracks video. So in this video, I talk about how I was in a pitch competition for $100,000, and so I was like, I want to promote and help keep different local tracks alive. And I want to do it for like a docuseries and stuff like that. So his first comment is, he says, I think I said that about California Speedway, not Irwindale, mute point, since both are dead to industrial manufacturing real estate. Best part is the diesel truck traffic, heck, any type of vehicle traffic, are now increased tenfold at these locations. So the pollution in Inland Empire, East LA is worse than it already is. If they would have stayed tracks, at least it would have been more environmentally friendly. Like, I freaking care about that. This has happened on occasions. I think that we've seen this before, and this kind of happens with the EV vehicles, is that the people who are in charge think that this is what will save the future, but the problem is there isn't enough research in saying if it's actually going to be more beneficial. Everyone is always up in arms. Like, if you look at a environmentalist from a standpoint, if you look at racing as a whole, it's very wasteful. Uses a lot of petroleum in the form of like tires, rubber, consumables. As far as motorsports go, is a lot. If you race, you know that you're using a ton of fluids. You're constantly having to change fluids, change brake pads, change tires, add more fuel into the cars. Like, inherently, there is a wasteful aspect to it. Hence why it is an expensive hobby more than anything. What a lot of things with the environment is they think that by us doing these things that it is actively killing the environment. While I won't necessarily disagree that it's not the greatest thing for the environment, I will also say is that motorsports as a whole, I guarantee you, is doing less damage than what it costs to do to have EV production and like the mining of those materials and how that's done. That it's less involved than the pollution that is done by manufacturing as a whole versus like what a race is going to do. And there's so many different aspects of what is affected by the environment through the process of going race to race to race, through the moving of stuff for each NASCAR or NHRA event to these different tracks and the cost and fuel consumption that goes into that. There's all that kind of stuff. And F1 specifically, like, these guys are traveling across the world. But overall, there are things that can be improved in the motorsports world to help it reduce the amount of emissions that it gives off. I know a lot of organizations, including F1, are trying to be net zero in their pollution aspect. It's really hard to do that. But overall, I think this perception of bearing this cross amongst car enthusiasts or people who are in motorsports is not fair, when there are other industries that could benefit from more efficient use of other types of fuel for power or electricity or cleaner ways to process and manufacture things. I don't have the answers. That's not this video to say. There are smarter people than me that have done the research, that know exactly what could be done to do the environment better. But putting that on people who love cars and motorsports and even the common consumer, like, that's not fair. It's just not. The impact that they're doing is not going to destroy the environment. We have gotten past that point, and now we just have a lot of people driving. But there's other ways that we can save the environment that are way better, that'll have a way bigger impact. The other comment on here, he says, and kind of talking about how to keep tracks alive. Here's a concept that has been used in urban design, specifically skateboarding. If you provide a healthy outlet for otherwise publicly socially disruptive behavior, it will focus the majority of said behavior at the design spaces rather than where it is not welcomed. Additionally, rules related to where and when the behavior can occur is much easier to enforce when there is an obvious location, time, and place for it. I'm all about installing 100 square foot of concrete K-barriers in the always empty sections of Walmart or any big box parking lot for hooning and all around horseplay. Just post a sign that states entry to the spaces indemnifies all entities of liability, same as skate parks, and let them eat. Obviously, if extracurricular activities at said location get out of hand, the normal law enforcement can commence. But otherwise, let people do donuts and wall taps until their gas runneth out. This is, I mean, you got to think, like, this is what he's saying about skate culture and car culture are very one-in-one. Security guards would get in people's way of doing tricks and like intentionally ruin tricks. And then you've seen this kind of shift recently of like, if they're not harming anybody, if they're not actively getting in the way of harming someone, if someone sees a trick that they can land or somewhere they can go and they're not physically going to be in the way of hurting anybody else, hurting themselves is going to happen. But if they're not actively going to hurt or affect other people in a way that directly causes them harm, let them do the trick. I mean, that's just a simple aspect. And I think this is kind of that aspect. This isn't as laissez-faire of like, just let everyone do burnouts and shit like that on the streets and stuff. But it's basically taking into consideration, like, we have all these places that are empty and don't have, so you might as well put it to where there's a safe space to do something that just lets people figure things out in the best way possible. It's the two things. It's the one of the environmental aspect of motorsports and everyone trying to stop that because it's such a wasteful thing, but they're not really focusing on the true problems that are happening. And then you have the aspect of like, you keep shutting down these tracks. What else do you expect to happen to these people that would normally find their outlet at these places, that they would get out of their system? Now they're going, well, where else do I go? And so they go places that cops aren't going to go. They're going to go do stuff with their friends, or they're going to go where the crowds are, because they figure, if everyone's doing it, how am I going to get caught? Someone said, first time seeing you and that shit's dope. Definitely going to be tuning in for more videos. Love seeing newer and upcoming YouTubers. You'll succeed. Thanks. I've been doing this for 8 years, very terribly. So yeah, that's the comments that we've gotten from the most recent videos. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you did like this video, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Comment down below what else you want to see on the channel. Any comments about what I've talked about so far in this video. And yeah, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with another amazing video.